Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, continuing our discussion with Dr. Amir. Now, talking about this new agreement to be signed between the European Council and Egypt, amounting to €500 million. They're talking about projects, developmental projects in all sorts of sectors, talking about tourism, know-how, transfer of knowledge and expertise, talking about energy and gas. And as you've mentioned, Egypt is becoming a big source of gas exportation country and energy hub really to the European countries. Now, how do you see this sort of European commitment, €500 million, that's a serious amount of money, to Egypt, helping in boosting the relationship and the investment and the infrastructure within Egypt? Is this how Egypt is also gaining, having its own win-win situation by assisting the European Council and the continent in dealing with political issues, illegal immigration, energy? This is how Egypt is benefiting from this relationship?
Of course, there's this benefit, because we all know that Egypt was always a fertile country for investment, but unfortunately in the several decades, all the laws in Egypt were very bureaucratic, handicapping all the foreign investors from coming to Egypt. The infrastructure wasn't good. Now what we're living is a new situation. As President Sisi said, in the new republic, it's really the new republic, because we have now new infrastructure with superb routes, and everyone could say it. Even those who were opposing and saying why we're spending these money, they're saying it's huge. The electricity, I don't want to name the company, it's a German company. We are now producing electricity. We are helping countries like Lebanon to have electricity, even with Saudi Arabia now, and we're trying to do it with Iraq and in Jordan. We are now exporting the gas, and we were very, very accurate, and President Sisi acted very, let's say, in a very smart way by guaranteeing before exporting or exploiting Egypt's rights in the gas fields. He maintained Egypt's reserves or Egypt's treasures in the gas through international accords. We have signed with Greece, with Cyprus, and then we made the gas club in the region, having in it Lebanon, Israel, and the Palestinian Authority, and we have also other countries in the Eastern Mediterranean. And that's why President Sisi is always working with Greece and Cyprus, because it won't be smart if you will exploit the resources, and then you will have these problems with the frontiers in the waters. So I think that the vision that Europe is saying, to answer your question about these billions of dollars, they have seen that this country is going through a very well-studied plan. We sign the agreements, then we start working, we have a timetable, we know how to spend the money. The problem with the Europeans and other development countries is that they always say, well, we give the money, we don't know where it's going. Now, Egypt is totally different. They know it's a win-win relationship. If they will give us a cent, they know that this will be invested in the infrastructure, invested in Egypt's solid economy, and then they will come to invest. So they're helping us, and we are offering them the place where they come to invest. Fortunately and unfortunately, fortunately, we are the only stable country in the region. Unfortunately, everyone is collapsing around us. But we are the only state and the only country offering them, and let's not forget the Suez Canal sector. It has given them, and then we have this huge test of the evergreen. We have managing crisis team, how we manage in a few hours to solve these huge problems. So we're showing these countries that we are not only a partner asking for help, no, we are capable of developing ourselves, we are capable of working around the clock with a timetable and manage crisis and go forward.
Yes. Well, Europe or the European Union has been Egypt's top trading partner. I mean, namely as well, we're talking about countries such as Italy and Spain and Germany and France as well. Now, they're already the top partners, trading partners with Egypt, but you've pointed out to also other members of the European Council and the European Union, the Visegrad group, that we've seen a lot of the presidential and governmental visits taking place there. So does that mean that also with the participation of the Visegrad companies, countries such as Poland, Hungary, Slovakia, Romania, we've seen this real strong intention by these group of countries to wanting to invest in Egypt, wanting to be a very present and clear partner, economic partner to Egypt and cooperating with the Egyptian economy. Does this really give much more weight to the European Council in terms of its relationship with Egypt? Because Egypt individually can make deals with Russia, can make deals with France and Italy and Germany, but now having the Visegrad group as well gives it more weight to the European Council and maybe even more finances through these countries to cooperate with Egypt.
Because these countries are becoming now heavyweight voters inside Europe, and you need these to secure these votes whenever there are these kind of restrictions about the exports and imports. You have to have friends in the inside. You cannot work with Western Europe and that's it. No, the eastern side is very important, and it was very, very smart in the way of dealing with these countries. Why? Because at the time of the Iron Curtain, and this was the part of Eastern Europe, we had very good relations with them in the term of military exports, imports. And I think that we have managed to guarantee the ongoing relationship on these levels. We are offering these countries in Eastern Europe also the agricultural products of Egypt, because they don't have the same restrictions as Western Europe is doing. And we are offering them also the tourism. They can come to Egypt. So, and of course, their investment is a medium level. It's not like Western Europe, but it helps also. So we're offering them also this. We are offering them also the aid in how to battle the organized crime. We know a country like Romania had several problems with migrants and several problems with organized crime. We have strong security, we give the info, we can collaborate with them. But let me answer your question about the EU Council. It's about having friends in the inside. You are securing friends in Western Europe, and you're securing friends in Eastern Europe, and in Moscow and in Washington. But it's very important that your right neighbors, I mean in the right away from the Mediterranean, across the Mediterranean, which is Europe, you have to have excellent relations with the whole continent. And you have to work with every country. And this is what's really amazing about President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, that he made visits to countries like Belarus, like Slovenia, like Romania. He made all these visits, and lately he was in Hungary. He has excellent relations with Viktor Orban, the powerful leader there as a prime minister. He's a powerful European leader. So I think these countries at a certain time didn't know where Egypt was doing in the international scene. Now they know that Egypt is a strong country present there, and they can rely on it.
Do you feel that, one final question, because we're running out of time, but do you feel that with the recent participation of Egypt in the Sustainable Development UN conferences, the Human Rights Conference, the COP26, talking about climate change in Glasgow and hosting the next COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh. Do you feel that with all this really strong and significant presence of Egypt within the international platforms and the international summits really highlights or shows how far Egypt has gone through within its foreign affairs file and journey for the past few years?
It's a huge success. It never happened before in Egypt's relationship with our international friends. I think that the Europeans certainly know that Egypt was present every conference, whether about Africa, when we were heading the African Union.
Yes.
And there was a conference before we were heading the African Union in Austria about the relationship between Africa and Europe. And also in Russia, there was Africa-Russia conference. We were present at all the conferences in Palermo about Libya. We have maintained a straight relationship with Europe concerning the Libyan file, and we managed to bring a solution for it. We are in the presence of the climate change, as you said, the COP26 in Glasgow, and of course that we will be holding the next COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh. It's a huge success. The main result is that Egypt is a main strategic power in the Middle East and the Eastern Mediterranean. We're not only heading in Africa, in the Arab world, and in the Middle East. No, in the Eastern Mediterranean, this never happened since the times of the Byzantines and Cleopatra.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, long may it continue the Egyptian political, diplomatic, and commercial and economic role Egypt is enjoying and playing within, not just, as Dr. Amir mentioned, not just in Africa and not just in North Africa, but also the Eastern Mediterranean and within the international community as well. A great achievement by the Egyptian diplomacy that has been quite smart, quite peaceful, quite respectful to all relations with the international community. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this edition of the Daily Debate. But before we go, I'd like to thank my very distinguished guest, Dr. Sherif Amir, the Professor of Geopolitical Affairs at the University of Paris. Dr. Amir, always a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for more coming up on Nile International. I'm Henny Saif. Thank you for joining us.